So we're back with the weightlifting scoop. Glenn Pendlay and Don McCauley with me.
Hello.
Hello.
That always cracks me up when everybody feels like they have to say hello.
Well, it's just the polite thing to do, Travis.
It's radio. They can't see us. Well, it's not radio, but it's like radio.
It is radio.
It is.
Podcast radio. I don't know. We're on iTunes. We're legit.
Yeah, that's the true mark of success.
That is definitely.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah. You can't just stop a podcast that's on iTunes. You got to keep it going.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we got Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. So this is our Thanksgiving episode. I was at the grocery store for like 2 hours earlier trying to buy stuff for... I'm making green bean casserole for the team tomorrow and sweet potato souffle. It's damn good stuff.
Green bean casserole is probably my least favorite Thanksgiving dish.
And do you make something called souffle for the American holiday of Thanksgiving? Sounds kind of Frenchy to me.
Well, so to go with the green bean, I make phenomenal green bean casserole.
I probably wouldn't like it.
And I decided that I was going to make these two things because I'm not going to settle on these two particular things. Green bean casserole. So I make the green bean casserole with 1 can of cream of mushroom and 1 can of Cheese Whiz instead of 2 cans of cream of mushroom.
Well, now that you've told us that,
that does sound a little better than what I normally have. I'm still not sure I'd like it, but
I'll bring you some on Friday if we have any left. I don't know. I think everybody has to make weight, so we can only have so much of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I won't be too disappointed, I don't think, if I don't get any, but
I think Zella can look at the green bean casserole. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, Mike's cutting for the meat. Probably not going to be eating too much. As are some of us, and then you got like Tom, and then we got Sean, and Sean's like I'm gonna bring 3 pies and this and that, and we're like, dude, nobody can eat that.
well, he can.
Well, yeah, I guess him and Tom are gonna split 2 pies or 3 pies or something.
It still amazes me that they put Thanksgiving so close to the American Open. That was a terrible idea.
I blame the Pilgrims.
Yeah, definitely.
The Pilgrims. Well, we were talking about this a little bit. Like, if you did move the American Open, it'd be very difficult to find a place to put it in the calendar year, really.
It'd be better to just move Thanksgiving to like earlier in the month.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
Why does Thanksgiving always come on a Thursday? Does anybody know?
I have no idea.
It's the 3rd Thursday of November. That's all I know.
Yeah, but why?
I have no idea.
Well, if it's the 27th, then it can't be the 3rd Thursday, because there's...
I don't know. Maybe it's the last
the 20th.
Thursday. Maybe it's the last
Well,
Thursday.
maybe it is. I don't know. Whatever.
But it's up there.
The last Thursday, that makes sense, I guess.
No idea why it's Thursday.
The important thing is it's tomorrow.
So if anybody knows the answer to that, tweet us at WLiftingScoop, because
Nothing.
no idea.
No idea.
But anyway, I was in the store. Everybody is shopping today. So I guess they all procrastinated as much as I did.
I think that's pretty well known as one of the biggest grocery store shopping days of the year, is the day before Thanksgiving.
I shopped last night, so I'm an early bird.
The weather was so bad last night, I just didn't even want to leave the house. It was raining. It was cold.
I went to Starbucks.
Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
to shop
internet
for,
yet at
To
home.
shop for Thanksgiving?
Midnight coffee?
No, I don't have internet yet at home, so I have to go down to Starbucks and do my stuff there. All that internet stuff I do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of...
Don's getting big time. He's commenting on Facebook. I tell you what, like, you post something on Facebook, he's on it 2 seconds.
I have no life. So
Well, you got no TV.
I have no TV. I do have an alarm clock, radio.
Oh,
So
that's one thing, I guess.
Anybody out there that wants to get Don a Christmas present, he needs a TV. So,
No, I've got a TV. I don't have the hookup yet. I'm waiting for the hookup.
So get him a digital antenna. He at least needs some local channels so he can watch the news and all that kind of stuff.
Will I not get the news with the direct TV, the local news?
Oh, you will. So
Yeah,
you
you
are
will.
getting cable set up.
I am. Yes,
Okay.
That's what I'm telling. That's what I understand.
Okay.
They came in today and made my Wi-Fi live. Although I don't have a modem, so it doesn't make a hell of a lot of difference. But I am set up for when I get a modem. Bang, Wi-Fi.
Banging on the table. Everybody's
Yeah.
wondering what that is.
Banging on
Don is fierce today.
fierce. Coffee in my hand.
Tell you what, we better not bring up anything controversial today.
I don't like the American Open where it is. We just talked about this.
I don't like Thanksgiving where it is. I think it should be
that
around
wasn't
November
necessarily
1st.
that wasn't
September should be in
necessarily
September or
a
something.
cue to bring up a controversial topic. I wasn't waiting for it.
I think we could well have the American Open in the calendar year, the next calendar year. I think we could have the American Open start the year off in early January. Something like, second weekend of January, rather than the week after Thanksgiving.
I've got a seminar that weekend.
Well,
I don't think that's going to work.
except when Glenn has seminars. I mean, let's not get, Glenn will actually have more people at his seminars that aren't related to him than we'll have at the American Open that aren't related to the lifters.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of CrossFitters coming.
Well, they'll bring their own people. More than likely. Naturally, we will. No, we'll have more people than usual because of the CrossFitters. Not only competitors, but more people not related
There
to
are
them.
58 women entered in the 58 kilo weight class.
It's unbelievable. I looked at the numbers. I couldn't. It was like pages.
That shouldn't be allowed.
They should not be allowed.
Well, like we said, there's
Do you think there should not be that many small women? Is that just
I didn't know there were that many small women.
Small women. I mean, good Lord.
I would say 58's pretty, well, I don't know. I guess that's pretty small, but I mean, that's average.
Well,
Well,
not according to the women I see on the street.
well, Glenn and I have been in the weightlifting business a long time.
No, that's just a lot. I wish they'd raise the start totals. I'm not a fan of having this many people at a meet, but hopefully they pull it
Well,
off.
next year there wasn't this many, so this year there is. So I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll raise the totals next year.
One would think. Maybe.
Or make it a 4-day meet.
That would
Which would
kind
be
of
crazy,
suck.
but yeah, well, I don't even like the month it's in, so, what the
I mean, that kind of works for us because we're going to be there anyways, but just if you were a self-funded athlete, I mean, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I agree. They should. I mean, I think 15 to 20 per weight class is ideal. Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know.
No, I agree with that. Many more than that, and it just becomes an endurance kind of thing that everybody's tired and you're just waiting forever for your class to come and everybody's late and not good. Not good.
Well, not only that, I mean, most of the officials and people on the technical, they're volunteers, correct? So they kind of pay their way.
Yeah,
to go
and
there.
they're the ones that really get screwed because they have to be there longer.
Yeah.
And they don't receive any reimbursement or anything. And that's kind of crappy for them.
And I mean, most of those people, they are older, so they got to sit through.
What do you mean?
Well, they're older.
A lot of them are older than you, Don.
And
What do you mean?
for them to sit through 4 days of lifting, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't do that.
No, it's definite.
It'd be painful. Do that 2-3 times a year. You're gonna have to start paying some people or raising the totals.
They actually should pay the people. I've said this a long time. If you're going to have a professional sport, have a professional sport. But that's another story, and I don't want to get controversial this near Thanksgiving.
What are you thankful for in weightlifting, Don?
I'm thankful for weightlifting. It gives me something to do every day. No, it's hell. Are you kidding? I'm having the best time I've ever had in coaching. Not just being here with you, Travis. No, go there.
It's all about being here with me, isn't it?
That's exactly it. Because we are having nothing but laughs here. But no, right now the weightlifting is on the rise. It's great.
Yeah, so being able to coach CrossFitters who are excited, doing seminars, and is that kind of like the thing that you're excited about right now?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm excited about working here at Muscle Driver, but seeing the enthusiasm of so many people in CrossFit wanting to learn our sport, which was hidden away in a closet for so many years, as far as the length of time I've been coaching and doing it, it's fun to see. It's fun to see. The sport gets the recognition it should get.
Yeah.
That sort of brought on a big silence, didn't it?
Yeah, nobody knows what to say after that.
Well,
I'm thankful for I'm going to have blueberry and pecan pie tomorrow, and I'm thankful for that.
Damn.
I'm the kind of Thanksgiving person. If you just do the meat, the turkey and maybe potatoes or something like that, and then go straight to the pies. That's the kind of Thanksgiving I really like. Maybe cornbread or something if you really wanted to stretch it. I do love cornbread, but plenty of pie. But in general, though, I have a lot to be thankful for. I mean, I have the best job in the world. I coach weightlifting full time, and I couldn't imagine being any happier than doing that. So that's wonderful.
No, to me, that's unbelievable too. I mean, over the last couple of years, just having clinics and people actually showing up at clinics and being able to do that.
People show up at your clinics?
They do. It's unbelievable. They do. Oh, I often promise that big stars will show up. They haven't caught on that really nobody's showing up. But, I name names. But no, and then, obviously I've got this job now, but working with weightlifters and actually making a living at it, not too many people in this country get to do that.
There's a lot of worse things you could do for a living.
There's a couple of, I've done a lot of those things. And probably most of us have.
I didn't know if I'd be able to really keep doing weightlifting after college. So, yeah, I'm just glad that I'm able to keep training. And with weightlifting changing a little bit, like I'm able to make some, I don't know. I mean, I'm able to live on more than minimum wage. I don't make a lot of money, but I'm able to, like, when I do make money outside of training, it is coaching weightlifting, which is fun as well. Something that I'm equally passionate about. So it's pretty cool.
So Travis, how are you liking training the last 2 weeks?
It's been interesting. I guess we're peaking for the competition, I guess, if you will. Although I'm not really peaking, I wouldn't say, because I came back from Worlds. I was just beat training up to Worlds. Like, things didn't go 100% textbook. So I got a little fatigued in training. And then I took 5 days off after the Worlds. Maybe Glenn didn't know that. He's giving me the evil eye. But after that, I came home and I took things slow, and it took a while to rebuild. But I think this week is the first week where I felt somewhat normal. So
you said you felt pretty normal last week.
I felt good last week, but the weights I was doing were not good.
Yeah.
So I started to feel good. Then the weights were coming around. This week, the weights are finally starting to come around, and so I'm feeling somewhat confident going into the meet, as opposed to feeling like I'm in the dark.
Yeah. Overall, I think the team pretty ready. I mean, there's good spots and bad spots, and I'm never confident going into a meet. I always am looking at worst case scenario, so I'm kind of a pessimist. But I've got to say that overall, people are hitting pretty good weights last week and this week, and pretty reasonable. And I feel, better than I did a couple weeks ago.
Well, before we get into individuals, like how they're doing, I mean, since maybe not related, but since Don's gotten here, I guess one thing that we talked about was potentially a weakness in our program was the people would make big jumps and start missing during training and have too many misses without getting a lot of those 80, 85, 90% lifts before they started missing. So recently you've been putting up, especially in the morning, some doubles at 80%, some doubles at 85%, some singles at 90% for people to hit certain weights before they're kind of going all out on the max out sessions. Anything particular that spurred that, or?
There was a couple of things, and I think it's working well. So I didn't really plan it to be a total revamp of our training, and I don't think it has been. I think if you look at the actual weights and whatever people are hitting, it's not anything that's wholesale changing. But I really felt like the number of people we have now versus the number of, say, years ago, maybe I had 4 people winning the American Open. or nationals or whatever. And now it's, 8, 10, 12. It's more difficult to kind of keep track of everything kind of in your head or in a less, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Kind of, it's just difficult without using percentages or using actual weights here, hit this or hit that. And I do think that kind of because of that, had people get into the role where they're not, exactly what you said. They're not hitting enough lifts. They're jumping up to something that they're missing at and having too many misses and things like that. So really at the start of last week, we started actually putting down, hit 85% for single, 85, or 80% for double and 85 for single or something like that. So I'm confident everybody's getting roughly the same amount of work at medium weights. And
to clarify, I mean, it's completely a guideline. So some people are going a couple kilos higher, a couple kilos less, depending on how you feel. But I think definitely. Before it was completely based on interpretation. So, I think including myself, sometimes I might work up really quickly up to my heaviest weights and miss a lot without really ever getting,
and
2 or 3 doubles at 80%.
One of the big changes, and again, this is brought on by, me thinking that people get too caught up and they want to hit a certain weight that workout, whether it be 140 or 150 or, 180 clean and jerk or whatever. And if they don't make it the first time, they end up taking it too many times, missing it too many times and being very tired and not able to go down to any back off sets and get some actual work in with the weight they can do. And so we started to do more doubles before we hit the heaviest weight and not waiting till after. And I think that has been the biggest actual change that's made a difference. And I actually am pretty happy with the fact that, I feel like we have gotten more singles and doubles in with between 80 and 90% these last 2 weeks or week and a half, than we had before. And it's a little different and it's a little different, like for me watching people, because I'm used to people jumping to heavy weights, when they're fresh. But I feel good about it. I feel like, for instance, James, whose best snatch in training is 147. James has gotten more.
145 in training.
145 in training. Sorry about that. James has got more reps between 125 and 137 than he ever has before, I think.
James was attempting 147. I mean, James is having the training of his life right now. He's kind of on top of things.
Yeah, he recently cleaned 182 and locked out the jerk, but missed it forward.
So speaking of, Glenn did give him $1, Polish dollar.
Polish $10.
Some form of Polish money.
Yeah, I kind of forgot I did, but I guess I bet him $1 on that, but I did give him some Polish money for that. But no, I feel like people have gotten more work in the middle range than we had before, and I feel good about it. And it seems as though it's something I should keep doing. I just feel like everyone's more on the same page,
And to clarify, Friday is still always a singles max out day.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, it gives people the opportunity to get all the work in Monday through Wednesday or Monday through Thursday and then still have that all-out snatch day on Friday.
Yeah, we're still going all out. I mean, we didn't abandon the going to max thing, but I just feel like more work, in the 80 to 90% range is a good thing.
And two, we also still believe that you got to pull on heavy weights, so we're not saying to like never try a new max multiple times. James was pulling on 147 3, 4, 5 times the other day. It was very close. So we're not saying that we're never doing that anymore. It's just instead of leaving it up to interpretation, we're putting more percentages up there as a guideline so that people get the minimum amount of work in every training session. Especially
on the way up, so you get your couple of doubles or whatever done before you actually go heavy and things like that. So I think it's good, and I think it keeps everybody on the same page, better and things like that. So I think it's successful.
So Don, anything that you've seen, any critiques or things that you're trying to help out with in the gym?
Well, no, I mean, this time when I came back here, the first thing I noticed is Glenn was doing some percentages, just like we just talked about. And of course I like that. I'm a little more of a percentage guy than he is. Mostly because I can't remember what the hell I did yesterday, so I have to have percentages to tell me. But, and it's always a guideline. I think every program's a guideline. Whether you're a heavy percentage guy or not, I think every program comes down to a guideline. I like it. I like it. I think that's good. I'm trying to do the same thing I always try to do. I try to get on people and fix little things in their technique and hopefully helps them. I hope in the future that we'll get a little more private time with some of the athletes on the side to work on specific things outside the workout schedule.
Yeah, Don and I talked about this like the first day after he came. But the thing is he came at kind of a difficult time, which is right before the American Open. And
yeah, you can't do that right before the meet.
No, yeah, of course not.
You don't want to like switch major things right before a competition. So we talked about it, and I think, after the American Open, we're going to sit down together and, hopefully Don will have a little more input, and we'll schedule some time where, Don can work with people and things like that. But leading up to the American Open, we both kind of agreed that the best thing was just to kind of keep going with what we'd been doing, before the competition. So.
Oh, absolutely. You can't make any kind of big changes going into a competition. That's just, that's looking for trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. But a week and a half out as we are right now, I'm pretty happy with where we are. We've already started to peak, and that has basically taken the toll. We're doing a little less volume this week, not a ton less, but Tuesday and Thursday are much lighter this week. So hopefully, people will be feeling a little better at the end of the week than they were last week. Last week was a tough week. And then next week we'll just, the weights and the volume will just decrease all week. And hopefully be fresh and ready to lift on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So are we still building up? We're still going heavy on Friday, just trying to cut the volume down?
Yeah. I still plan on going heavy on Friday, and then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Actually fly on Thursday, so there won't be a lot of training, but, should be just, start out, at least snatch pretty good on Monday and then just lower every day until the meet.
Yeah.
And that's pretty, next week should be pretty normal. I mean, just the way we peak for any important meet. And I don't see anything greatly wrong with what we're doing. Of course, it could always get better, but hopefully it'll work and we'll have a good meet.
I think it's good to just be more specific and give people a minimum to shoot for, some kind of number to shoot for in the workout. And you did this before, where you would give people individual numbers. It wouldn't necessarily be percentages, but it kind of worked out that they were similar percentages to what you were telling us to do now. So it's just easier to give everyone the same workout and have them kind of guesstimate their percentages. And not necessarily have to be like, oh my God, it's 137, and sometimes we'll take 140 or whatever, based on feel.
Yeah, I think how it feels during the workout, and if you're doing two doubles at 80% and one is 3 kilos under 80% and one's a couple kilos over, I mean, that's great. That's fine. I don't mean for everyone to follow it absolutely exactly.
So we have a couple questions that we can quickly go through. One of them I don't want to spend much time on, but it was saying, someone asked, they said, I haven't heard the weightlifting scoops opinion on this, but when you catch clean, should your knees go in or out on the way up? And basically the same thing as squatting. Yeah. And all I've said is like, go down, go up, whatever happens with your knees happens. If they go in naturally, and it's not like they're touching or anything like that, it's probably okay. If they go out a little bit naturally, that's probably okay too, as long as you're not on either extreme. I think preferably they stay in the same spot, but hey, I'm not going to tell someone if their knees come in 2 inches that it's dangerous or vice versa.
Yeah, especially if they're one of the numerous like world champions that have their knees come in. I mean, lots of really, really good lifters have their knees come in, and I would basically agree with that answer. You do one or the other naturally, as long as it's not crazy. You know, you don't want your knees touching each other halfway up, but then you're probably okay.
One of the things that we try to do at seminars is keep some of the semantics out of it. So Glenn teaches the position 1, 2, 3 in the catch position. And at the end of the day, if you don't remember anything else and you remember those 3 positions, you can look in the video and see if you hit those 3 positions, and you probably have done it right. If you're standing up with your squats and you don't have major tendonitis or hip pain or something like that, then you're probably doing it all right. So
yeah, there's a big variation in how lifters around the world do that. And, you know, yeah, if you're having some major problem, you want to look at it. But if you're an experienced lifter and your knees are coming in a little or moving out a little, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just generally, when I'm giving clinics or even when I'm talking to lifters here or anywhere else, I generally tell them that your knees should be pointing the way your toes are pointing. But I'm not jumping on them if I see them move in or out. I think mine always did move in a little bit. And
if you're standing up with your clean, be
that's
happy.
Right. If they're getting up,
you know?
I don't care. If they're getting up, that's good. If they're getting crushed, well, maybe we try to fix something. But, you know, no, you don't go crazy on that stuff.
I had one other question. I think this was more for the athlete. However, you guys can obviously have some good input.
What do you mean we're not athletes?
Well, they were asking how do the athletes on our team eat meals, time them, what's the content of the meals. Quick answer is everyone's different. How I personally do it, I eat breakfast in the morning, usually have 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon. For lunch, I usually have some kind of carb with some meat, so maybe like some oatmeal, spinach, and about a half pound of meat. And for dinner, have some kind of vegetable and meat. Like 90% of the time, that's what I'll eat. Obviously, sometimes I have, I don't know, everybody's hating on the word cheat meal or whatever, but every once in a while I'll vary from that, but like 90% of the time, that's kind of what I'm sticking to. So the timing is just before training in the morning, kind of like about an hour before training in the afternoon, and then an hour after training in the afternoon. That's just because that's how it fits in my schedule. It's not because it's scientific. No, it's just when I'm able to get home and actually cook. It has nothing to do with like, oh my God, I have to eat during that time. I don't really think it matters too much as long as you're within reason on those timing periods.
I like to skip breakfast and then have fuel pizza for lunch.
Obviously, you've given up your athletic career.
What are you talking about, Don? I just like
bowling
fuel,
is not
fuel
athletics.
Pizza. But yeah, everybody, Travis is right. Everybody does it differently, and you know, I agree with Trav so I don't think that timing of meals is of extreme importance. Although I think if you have a real problem getting a meal at a reasonably correct time, you can drink a shake or something, protein shake. But yeah, I think that's a decent eating plan, and as long as you're eating healthy, reasonable foods, I think you're good to go. But you know, how much you eat is dictated by the scale.
Did you guys have any other questions or any other comments about training, this and that, Thanksgiving?
I'm very happy that we're having training tomorrow morning on Thanksgiving because that means I don't have to do a lot of food preparation. Yeah. I was kind of worried if
call on your part.
If nobody wanted to train tomorrow morning, we were going to do it some other time of the day that I get too involved with. You know, I wouldn't have a good excuse to not be involved in the preparing of the Thanksgiving meal. My responsibility, I think, is I just got to get up early in the morning and put the turkey in the smoker. And past that, I'm going to say I'm not really responsible for anything. Maybe taking the turkey out of the smoker at the right time, but that's it.
All right. Glenn has become lazy lately.
Hey, smoking a turkey is no joke.
No joke. What do you think about training on Thanksgiving? I get the feeling that half of our listeners just went,
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, you can't really change anything. You got to train because we have a meet, a week away.
Good answer.
Last year we trained on Christmas morning.
Yeah, I don't think I was here, but I trained with Don.
If it's a training day, it's a training day.
Yeah, I don't see any point in taking off training days for holidays. I guess I'm just a little weird, but
Well, sometimes I find I find it better to get in and do light weights, even if it's like 50, 70 kilos, than take the day completely off.
yeah, off days screw everything up.
Yeah, unless it's like a usual off day. So like we always take Sunday off, which I compete on Sunday, so I need to kind of figure that one out. But no, that usually doesn't mess things up. As long as I take Saturday off, I'll probably be normal on Sunday.
It would be nice if they'd move all the holidays to Sunday, so we wouldn't have to bother with our training schedule.
Yeah, that would be best.
Be best, yeah.
Well, I think we're done here. We got to get down to training. So tweet us at WLiftingScoop. Send us your questions there or at theweightliftingscoop@gmail.com. Been getting a lot of good ones. So, you guys got anything?
I have nothing.
I got a new desk.
New desk.
Yeah. Actually, I got 2 new desks. The first one they gave me had an inkwell in it. I said, I'm not quite that old. And it was small.
Very small.
It was very small. I mean, come on. The second one,
It's not as big as mine, but it's
No.
about an inch and a half taller than mine
is a
now.
little bit taller.
And
I went with the blonde wood, or the blonde wood-like substance. Not the dark wood, not the cherry, but
Yeah.
a much more Danish kind of look.
I don't like it.
No. You just don't like that it's taller than yours.
Well,
Although it is quite a bit smaller than yours.
yeah,
And a lot neater.
I'll have to have a large desk because I have a big piles of junk on my desk. So I've got
Yeah.
one of the L desks that goes in a corner, although it's not in a corner, but still it has a lot of room on it for piles of junk.
I think with the junk piles, your desk gets taller than mine.
Oh yeah, my junk piles are huge.
Yeah.
They add 6 inches.
That's my big news of the day. That's my whole thing right there. Very, very shocked.
Very
that I got a
exciting.
desk.
thankful
It was.
for his desk. Thankful for his desk.
Thankful for
All right,
my
guys.
desk.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back on Friday. Eat lots of food if you're not competing or if you can afford it. If not, watch that scale, and we'll see you on Friday.